How do you do, fellow gamers? This is It's Man here with Be Careful, an online interactive game where we must save a flightless bee. Now, real quick, before I jump into gameplay, I'd like to let you guys know that if you guys like a comment to be featured on any future videos, then what I have to do is just leave a comment. That's it, just leave a comment. And so, without further ado, let's begin. Be careful. Enter your name. Let's put, man. Yeah, just put man. Yes. Hi, man. Are you ready to start? Yes. So, it was the perfect summer day, warm and sunlit with a gentle breeze carrying the scent of blooming flowers. On this beautiful day, you've chosen to spend your afternoon sunbathing in your backyard. You pick up your glass of dandelion tea and take a seat. As you glance around the garden, you happen to notice something small and yellow on the ground. So let's take a closer look. On the ground, you find a small fuzzy bumblebee, helplessly crawling around in search of its next meal. You watch its movements for a moment, quickly coming to the conclusion that this bee cannot fly. You're tempted to help the bee, but you're nervous about dealing with something that could potentially sting you. Let's outstretch our hand. What will you name the bee? Let's name the bee... Whitley. Yeah, Whitley. Okay, so you carefully lower your hand towards the tiny creature. The bee hesitates only briefly before eagerly climbing onto your palm. Its fuzzy body soft and delicate against your skin. There's no sting, no aggression, only trust, as though the bee senses your good intentions. You decide to name it Whitley. It nestles comfortably on your hand, its tiny wings trembling but too weak to lift it in the air. As you sit there, feeling the small warmth of its body, a decision lingers in your mind. Where to place it next? Let's place it be on the coneflower or place it be on the chicory flower. Let's try the, maybe the chicory flower? So, okay, here we are. Now there's a health bar. So, you decide to place the bee on the chicory flower. It climbs off your hand, but its interest fades quickly. It soon wanders off, disappearing into the nearby grass. You spend a few anxious moments searching for it, your heart pounding with worry until you spot the bee again. You found the bee, but something's wrong. Ants have found it. Uh-oh. They swarm around its tiny form. Though it doesn't seem too injured, you gently shoo the ants away, feeling a sense of relief from finding your little friend in time. The bee crawls weakly but still moves, and you know you must care for it more attentionally? I don't know how to pronounce that. But I know what it means, yeah. Anyways, there's the bee right there. Uh-oh, yeah, okay, health 75%. Okay, back in the garden, the day stretches onward. The warmth of the sun makes you want to relax further, but the bee still needs your care. You ponder where you should sit to keep an eye on it. The table is nearby, but the sun lounger is much closer to the bee, perfect for ensuring its safety. Your cat, dozing nearby, stirs briefly, its gaze wandering over the garden. Let's see, so... back in the garden... The table is nearby, but the sun lounger is much closer to the bee. Maybe the lounger, yeah. Alright. Okay, there we go. So, you settle back on the lounger, the gentle breeze brushing against your skin. From this vantage point, you're close to the bee, watching it as it rests on the flower. A butterfly flutters by, landing gracefully on the bloom next to the bee. For a moment, you lose yourself in the beauty of it all. But then, out of the corner of your eye, you spot your cat. Its attention is fixed on the butterfly, body tensing as it prepares to pounce. Quickly, you reach out, stopping your cat before it can leap. The butterfly flutters away unharmed, and you breathe a sigh of relief. Had you not been there, the cat's playful strike could have knocked the bee off its flower, causing harm to both creatures. There we go. Oh, what's this? Let's see. The day grows long, and your bond with the bee deepens. You decide that your flightless companion needs a home, a place to rest safely at night. You gather materials from the backyard, dirt, rocks, and a few sticks. Carefully, you craft a small terrarium using an old Tupperware container. But now comes another choice. What should you provide as a food source? Fresh flowers, though they'll need to be replaced often, or sugar water? Fresh flowers, though they'll need to be replaced often, or sugar water? I'm thinking fresh flowers? I guess just to be safe? Give the bee fresh flowers. Let's see. You gently place fresh flowers into the terrarium, creating a small garden for your tiny friend. The bee seems content, wandering through the blooms with a sense of purpose. Every few days, you replace the flowers, making sure the bee always has a source of nourishment. There's something calming about the routine, and each time you set out new flowers, the bee's soft buzzing fills the quiet space. Oh, soft buzzing. Oh, what's this? There's another bee. So let's see. So time passes, and the bond between you and the bee grows. One day, as you're watching it drink nectar from a flower, another bee lands beside it, larger and more energetic. You watch in awe as they seem to communicate, their movements synchronized, almost like a dance. Perhaps they're from the same hive. But dark clouds gather overhead, and a choice must be made. Should you leave the bees outside together, or take your flightless friend back inside where it will be safe? Take it inside, yeah. Let's see. Alright, so our health is still intact. You decide to bring the bee inside, tucking it carefully into the terrarium as the first drops of rain begin to fall. The storm rages outside, but within the warmth of your home, your tiny friend is safe and dry. You sit beside the terrarium, watching the bee rest. Let's see. I really like the artwork here. Yeah. As evening settles in, you notice the bee has fallen asleep in a flower. The flower it's resting on looks a bit shriveled, so you decide to pick some fresh blooms and offer them to your little friend. Carefully, you begin to remove the old flowers to make way for the new ones. The bee stirs awake as you move the flowers and starts to raise its middle leg repeatedly. Let's see. I think we should probably continue replacing the flowers, maybe. Ignoring the bee's warning signals, you continue to remove the old flowers, inadvertently disturbing it further. The bee, increasingly agitated, eventually stings you in defense. Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll just forgive the bee. Yeah. Oh, dang it. His health went down. The day grows long, and your bond with the bee deepens. As you contemplate the evening ahead, you realize you need to continue working at your desk nearby. You face a choice. Should you place the bee on a bouquet of flowers to enjoy, or keep it in its terrarium while you work? I have a hunch we might need to keep it in the terrarium. Yeah. You gently place the bee inside the terrarium, where it can rest safely while you work at your desk. The bee seems content in its new, secure home, and you feel reassured knowing it's protected. Throughout the day, you focus on your tasks, occasionally glancing at the bee's happy exploration of its new environment. The bee lives out its final days in the warmth and comfort of the world you've created. Each day, it roams the terrarium, surrounded by vibrant flowers and soft greenery. A peaceful haven where it never knows hunger or fear. Though it cannot fly, it never feels the absence of wings. Its life is full of simple joys, nurtured by your care and attention. The bond between you and your tiny friend grows as the weeks pass. You watch as the bee moves from flower to flower, savoring the sweetness of each moment. There's a quiet serenity in knowing that you've given it a life it otherwise wouldn't have had. Together, you share countless quiet afternoons, the bee basking in the sunlight while you tend to its surroundings with the same love that saved it. As time goes on, the bee's movements become slower, its days more restful. It doesn't feel pain, only the gentle pull of time, and you sense that the end is near. One peaceful afternoon, as the sun sets and the flowers close for the evening, the bee quietly drifts into eternal rest, its life fulfilled. Ah, I like how descriptive it is. Anyways, there is no sorrow, only peace. You know that you've done everything you could for this small creature, that it lived a happy, full life thanks to your care. And in its quiet passing, you feel a deep sense of fulfillment. The bee may be gone, but the memories of your time together and the knowledge that you gave it love will remain with you forever. Ending A, happy ending. There we go. So let's play it again. Alright, so start game. Once again, let's just name ourselves Man. The Man. Yes. Okay, so okay. Are you ready to start? Yes. So let's get a different ending where so let's see. So what happens? So we find the bee, and let's see what happens if we ignore it. So, you resume your day of relaxation and eventually forget about the bee. Once you remember the bee's existence, you glance back at the spot where you saw it, but the bee is nowhere to be found. Ending C, unbothered. Okay. Alright, now let's get an ending where we, like, fail to, like, nurture the bee safely. So, let's start, take a closer look, and outstretch our hand. What will we name the bee? So, as usual, let's name it Whitley. Yeah, Whitley. Okay, so what happens if we place it on the coneflower? So, gently, you set the bee down on the soft petals of the coneflower. It immediately begins to drink from the flower's nectar, its movements slow but purposeful. You watch as it explores the bloom, its tiny legs delicately working the surface. After a few moments, you begin to help the bee move from flower to flower, guiding it gently across the garden. Together, you pollinate the blooms, and though the bee can't fly, there's a quiet joy in helping it thrive in this small, beautiful way. You feel a deep connection to the little creature, and the world around you seems a little brighter. Alright. So, let's see what happens if we sit at the table this time. So, you settle into a chair at the table, resting your head in your hands as you gaze across the garden. A butterfly drifts past, its colors catching the light for a moment before it lands near the bee. From this distance, everything feels peaceful, serene, but a sudden rustling startles you. Your cat darts toward the butterfly, and your heart sinks as you see the bee knocked off the flower in the process. You rush over, scooping up the small creature, hoping it's unharmed. It looks rattled, but as you hold it, you remember something you'd read. Bees raise their middle leg when irritated. Sure enough, you notice a tiny leg rise, a silent signal of frustration. It's still alive, but shaken. So, what about sugar water? Oh, so you prepare a dish of sugar water, hoping it will be a sufficient substitute for fresh flowers. But as the bee approaches, it clumsily tumbles into the liquid, its tiny body flailing for a brief, heart-stopping moment. Your hands move instinctively, quickly rescuing the bee from the sugary trap. It's unharmed, but you can see the shock in its movements. The near drowning was a fright it won't soon forget. You vow to be more careful, knowing your intentions, while good, sometimes come with unintended consequences. You replace the sugar water with fresh flowers. Alright, so let's see what happens if we leave the bee outside this time, because it does say it's gonna rain here, so let's leave the bee outside. So as the sky darkens, you feel a slight pang of worry, but trust the bee is safe with its new companion. Time passes, and soon the sound of rain pattering against the windows draws your attention. You rush outside, only to find Whitley, drenched and clinging weakly to the flower. You scoop it up, heart aching as you bring it inside. Whitley is weakened, shivering from the cold rain. You eventually warm the bee, but are aware that damage has been done. Oh boy. Oh my goodness, Whitley's at her last legs. Okay, so, as evening settles in, you notice the bee has fallen asleep in a flower. The flower it's resting in looks a bit shriveled, so you decide to pick some fresh blooms and offer them to your little friend. Carefully, you begin to remove the old flowers to make way for the new ones. The bee stirs awake as you move the flowers and starts to raise its middle leg repeatedly. So let's see. I think Whitley loses health here as well, if I remember correctly. If you bother her here. So continue replacing the flowers. So, ignoring the bee's warning signals, you continue to remove the old flowers, inadvertently disturbing it further. The bee, increasingly agitated, eventually stings you in its defense. How will you react? Forgive the bee. Uh-oh. Yup. Oh no. Your heart shatters as you gaze at the lifeless form of the bee, once so full of energy and motion, now still and silent. Its tiny wings, once abuzz with life, are now folded in a final delicate repose. Whitley has passed. With trembling hands, you gently scoop up the fragile creature, your fingers brushing against its small, velvety body. The weight of it, barely there, makes your chest tighten with sorrow. Uh-oh. It's making me sad too. You carry it outside and lay it tenderly upon a bed of vibrant flowers, its final resting place. The skies darken as though nature mourns with you. And soon, the first drops of rain begin to fall. Slowly, the rain softens the edges of the world, gently washing over the petals and earth, erasing all traces of the bee, leaving only memory. Oh my goodness, dude. Oh my god, this is actually pretty sad. I mean, I know I deliberately... I know I deliberately tried to get this ending as well, but... Oh my goodness, this is actually pretty sad. As a misty veil of rain blurs the garden, you feel the depth of your grief settle in. Uh-oh. Tears escape your eyes, their steady fall matching the rhythm of the raindrops. The quiet weight of guilt presses down on you, not just for the life lost, but for the unintentional harm you caused. Even the smallest creatures, you realize, can leave an imprint on the soul. You stand there, drenched in sorrow, unable to shake the deep remorse that now colors your heart. You vow with all your being to atone for what you've done. In a fleeting moment of desperate hope, you imagine yourself becoming a beekeeper. Oh my god, dude, this is actually pretty sad. Nurturing life to atone for what you've taken. But the reality of your life, a 25-year-old animation student with no practical way to care for bees, quickly pulls you back. Instead, you'll use what you know, what you love, creation. You'll make a game. Oh, a tribute to this small creature, to ensure its memory endures beyond the garden, beyond the rain, beyond the fleeting moment it existed. Though responsible for the bee's untimely demise, you will see to it that its legacy lives on, in pixels and code, where it can never again be crushed by a careless step. Ending B, gone but not forgotten. Yeah, so a little bit of trivia. I actually read the devlogs for this game, and the developer, so this is actually based off of an actual flightless bee that the developer tried to care for, but it unfortunately passed away. Hence, you know, what we saw in that ending just now about, you know, about like, oh, the person in the game who represents the developer making a game about the bee. Yeah, so yeah, you know, I mean, I'm liking this game so far, yeah, but it also said in the devlogs that there's actually like a hidden horror segment of the game, and that's like one of the primary reasons why I decided to play it. So now that we've gotten like the 3 main endings, let's trigger the horror segment. Yeah, so start game, you know the drill, type in our name. Are you ready to start? Yes. So let's take a closer look. So I heard that if you were to step on the bee, like intentionally if you were to intentionally cause harm to the bee, then it would actually trigger the horror segment. Yeah, so on the ground you find a small fuzzy bumblebee, helplessly crawling around in search of its next meal. You watch its movements for a moment, quickly come to the conclusion that this bee cannot fly. You're tempted to help the bee, but you're nervous about dealing with something that could potentially sting you, so... Oh boy, I'm sorry, bee, but I want to see everything. So, step on the bee. Oh no. Wait, are you serious? This bee is just minding its business trying to survive. Plus, they're really good for the environment. Are you seriously doing this? Yes. Yeah, I really want to crush that bee. Really? Yes. Fine. You stomp on the bee, extinguishing the little flame of its life permanently. The crunch beneath your boot is subtle at first, almost unnoticeable amidst the hum of the summer day. But as you lift your foot, a sharp, instinctual unease prickles the back of your neck. Beneath you lies the crushed body of a bee, its tiny wings crumpled, its delicate form broken beyond repair. Oh my goodness, look at the text. It says, okay, I don't really care. You don't care? You will soon. Actions have consequences. You've made your bed, now lie in it. Wait, what? Oh, there it is. You hear that audio? There it is. The air around you shifts, thickens. Before you can take another step, a deafening buzz fills your ears. From every corner of your vision, they come. Bees. Thousands of them, surging toward you in an enraged, frenzied wave. The first sting is sharp, a burning needle of pain that shocks your system. Then, another, and another. The stings multiply, erupting across your skin like molten fire. Your breath coming in ragged gasps as panic sets in. You try to run, but your legs buckle beneath the relentless assault. Your vision blurs as the venom courses through your bloodstream, your body seizing with every stab of pain. The swarm engulfs you, suffocating you in a living, pulsating cloud of wings and venom. The world around you grows dim, and all you can feel is the relentless stinging and the sickening sensation of being lifted off the ground. Your body is dragged, limp and helpless, by countless stingers, digging into your flesh. Through the haze of agony, you feel yourself being carried away, far from the safety of the familiar world and into the yawning, dark unknown. As consciousness slips away, the last thing you hear is the maddening buzz, a symphony of fury and hunger. There we are. Whoa! Check this out! Oh my goodness! Whoa! That visual. Okay, you awake to find yourself in an incomprehensible situation. The bees that carried you away now appear deformed, humanoid, and much larger. None of this makes any sense. It can't be real. You're carried into what appears to be a giant hive. Your consciousness fades in and out. Through blurred vision, you see the twisted drones dragging you through dark passages. Let's remain still. Alright, you hold back your instinct to fight, allowing yourself to be carried without resistance. The drones buzz approvingly, seemingly less aggressive towards you. Continue. Alright, finally at your destination, the drones throw you into a large room. The chamber is an enormous, pulsating hive with walls covered in slick, golden honeycomb. The air is thick, with the cloying stench of decay and the oppressive warmth of the hive's interior. Dim, flickering lights from the bioluminescent fungi cast eerie shadows on the walls. At the center of the room, the queen bee looms. The large, grotesque figure is seated on a throne, made from entwined honeycomb and bones. Oh my goodness. Her bloated, segmented body shudders with each labored breath, and her eyes, shimmering and insectile, follow your every movement with cruel intent. Around her, a nightmarish feast is laid out. Humans, both alive and deceased, oh my goodness, are bound and suspended in unnatural positions. The living captives' terrified screams pierce the air as they struggle, while others hang limply, their faces twisted in silent agony. The queen's monstrous minions, humanoid bee creatures with ragged wings and dripping mandibles, move about with a horrifying efficiency, preparing the bodies for their queen's meal. The sounds of buzzing wings, sickening squelches, and the occasional cry of pain create a chilling symphony of terror. Every corner of the chamber radiates an aura of dread, as if the very walls are alive with the hunger and malice of this grotesque hive. Oh my god, there it is, dude. Oh. Now in the queen's chamber, as a grotesque feast unfolds around you, you feel an overwhelming presence weighing on your mind. The queen's thoughts probing yours. I think we have no choice. We must submit. You feel your mind slipping into a void of darkness, slowly losing your memories. However, you sense less hostility from the nearby drones as they seem to recognize your mental submission. Okay, continue. Oh, there we are! Look! Oh my goodness, I'm really liking the artwork. Oh. As you navigate through the chamber, you pass by some of the human captives, still barely alive. One of them whispers desperately, "Please, help me! I'm begging you!" Their suffering is unbearable to witness, but aiding them could be dangerous. We must walk away. I think we're being watched. We have to walk away. You ignore the plea and move on, preserving yourself but feeling the weight of guilt. Uh-oh. Minus 10 HP. Okay. There. So, exploring further, you come across a hidden chamber covered in strange markings. Inside, a strange artifact glows, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. Touch the artifact. As your hand connects with the relic, a wave of information floods your mind. You gain knowledge of the hive's dark origins, but the artifact drains your life force. Ah, dang it. Okay, continue onward. As you continue onward, you discover a drone that appears to be damaged or deformed, buzzing mindlessly in circles, clinging to remnants of its humanity. It begs for release. Put it out of its misery. Ah, dang it! Okay, you kill the drone out of pity, but the act of mercy makes the hive more aware of your presence. Nearby drones swarm and sting you in retaliation. Oh my goodness, ah! A chalice? After enduring endless trials, the hive offers you a gift, quote-unquote. A drone hands you a chalice filled with thick, violet-colored honey. You know this is the final step towards becoming one of them. No, reject it. You hurl the chalice to the ground, enraging the queen and her drones. Uh-oh. You've rejected the hive's offers and resisted its psychic pull. The queen grows furious and impatient. Will you fight her? And her drones in a final desperate attempt? Yeah, let's fight. So, the air grows thick and suffocating as you step forward. Shadows twist unnaturally, warping the space around you. In the center, the queen rises, a towering monstrosity of flesh. Her body, swollen and disfigured, pulses with an unnatural rhythm, sickly honey oozing from between her gnarled limbs. Her eyes glow with malevolent intelligence, fixing their gaze on you with an ancient unholy rage. With a deafening screech, the queen lunges, her massive, misshapen wings tearing through the air with a sickening buzz. You barely manage to dodge as her barbed legs crash down around you, sending up shards of bone and twisted resin. One strike grazes your side, the searing pain immediate as her venom courses through your veins, numbing your limbs. Your vision blurs for a moment, the air itself feeling like it's pressing in, trying to crush you under its weight. She moves with terrifying speed for something so grotesque, her body swelling and convulsing as if it could burst at any moment. You lash out, striking her bloated abdomen, but your weapon barely leaves a mark. Instead, a thick, syrupy fluid oozes from the wound, sizzling as it hits the ground, releasing fumes that choke the breath from your lungs. The queen screeches again, her mandibles snapping inches from your face as she rears back, preparing to strike. You're knocked off balance as her grotesque body slams into you with unnatural force. The walls of the chamber tremble, dripping with black ichor, as the hive itself seems to resonate with her fury. You're thrown to the ground, your body battered and bruised, blood pooling beneath you as your strength begins to wane. You struggle to your feet, vision swimming, body screaming in protest. She screeches in fury, yanking or seeing her free as the walls around you buckle and crack, the entire hive seeming to shift and groan under the weight of the monstrous fight. Every breath is agony, every movement a battle of will against the overwhelming pain. The queen lunges once more, and everything slows. Her towering form, her beady eyes, her dripping maw, all converge upon you in one final grotesque assault. The world narrows to this moment of pain, horror, and the inevitable strike of her venomous wrath. Minus 50 HP, we're dead. We are dead. The world blurs and fades as your strength leaves you, the buzzing of the hive growing louder, droning out your thoughts. Every limb is heavy, every breath a struggle. Your vision swims, dark spots overtaking the dim light of the twisted chamber. The grotesque queen looms over you, her shadow blotting out what little light remains, her eyes glistening with an unnatural hunger. You try to move, to raise your weapon, but your body no longer responds. The venom has spread too far, searing through your veins, leaving you numb and powerless. The queen leans closer, her gaping jaw opening impossibly wide, revealing rows of jagged, glistening teeth that drip with a thick, viscous fluid. With a sickening lurch, she lunges forward. You feel the first crunch of bone as her jaws close around your leg, dragging you toward her pulsating mass. Pain floods your senses, sharp and overwhelming, but you can no longer scream. The hive seems to resonate with her victory, a chorus of buzzing and screeches echoing through the chamber as her monstrous form begins to consume you, piece by agonizing piece. Your vision narrows to a pinprick of light, the last thing you see before the darkness swallows you whole. The taste of blood and terror fills the air, and then there is only silence. Ending F, devoured. Oh, try again? Yeah, sure. Alright, so let me try and survive the mutant's queen bee. Okay, so now I think we need to make the opposite choices of what I made earlier. So in this one, it's talking about a captive that's begging us to help them. So let's free the captive, yes? So, you quickly free the captive, but the noise attracts nearby drones. They swarm toward you, attacking as you try to fend them off. With a final, hurried glance, the prisoner slips away into the dark tunnels, disappearing from sight. Alright, so we lost more health that time, okay. This one, let's leave the artifact. Yeah. Let's see. You step back, avoiding the danger. Alright. So, let's ignore the broken drone. Yeah. You feel a pang of guilt, but continue onward. The queen's voice in your mind praises your cold efficiency, and you suffer no immediate loss. there's the chalice. So, again, let's reject the chalice. Let's reject it now. Reject it. Okay. Alright, so we enrage the drones. And you've rejected the hive's offers and resisted its psychic pull. The queen grows furious and impatient. Will you fight her and her drones in a final desperate attempt? No, escape. Okay. As the queen's looming form staggers and the oppressive weight of her presence presses down on you, something catches your eye in the distance. Movement. Faint but unmistakable. Through the pulsating darkness of the hive, a figure emerges from the shadows, a familiar silhouette you recognize immediately. It's the prisoner, the one you freed. Against all odds, they've survived the horrors of this place. They stand at the edge of the chamber, their eyes wide and desperate as they lock onto yours. A flicker of hope ignites within you, cutting through the suffocating dread that fills the hive. Without hesitation, you make your choice. There's no time to think. Your heart pounds in your chest as you turn away from the queen, her hissing voice growing distant as you bolt toward the prisoner. The buzzing of the hive rises in protest, but you don't look back. Every fiber of your being is focused on escape, on reaching that one glimmer of salvation in the darkness. The prisoner's hand extends towards you, and as you reach them, you feel their grip tighten around yours. Together, you run, feet pounding against the damp, uneven floor of the hive. Behind you, the queen's enraged screech echoes through the cavernous walls, but you don't slow down. The path ahead is narrow and treacherous, but the hive's walls begin to blur as the two of you sprint toward freedom. Oh, you break free from the twisted labyrinth of the hive, stumbling into the cold, open air. Your lungs burn with each breath, and your body aches from the ordeal. But you've survived. Barely. The dark, pulsating walls, the queen's monstrous eyes, and the endless drones of the hive are behind you now. Yet, as you stagger forward, something feels wrong. The night air should bring relief, but instead, an unsettling sensation creeps along your skin. That incessant buzzing, once a distant hum in the depths of the hive, still lingers in your mind, soft at first, but growing louder with each step you take. It's as though the hive has followed you, crawling beneath your flesh, embedding itself in your thoughts. Your heart races, your pulse quickening in sync with the phantom drones. You stop, glancing around, half expecting to see the hive's dark tendril shaking towards you, but the world around you is still, empty, silent. Still, the buzzing persists. No matter how far you run, how many miles stretch between you and the queen's lair, the sensation remains, an ever-present reminder that you were once part of something far darker than you could have imagined. The hive is gone, but its mark has been left on you, a stain that cannot be washed away. You shiver, knowing the truth. The hive is not behind you, it's within you. Ending D, paranoid. So what is this? Paranoid, tinnitus. Oh. Alright, I think there might be another ending. Yeah, I think I have a hypothesis that it might be like where you become one of them, I think, like by drinking the chalice. Yeah, so let's see if we can get I think it's ending E. Yeah, let's see if we can get ending E. Okay, so let's see what happens if we decide to take a sip from the chalice. Alright. A strange sense of calm washes over you as the queen's offer seeps deeper into your mind. The fight, the pain, the fear. All of it fades as you surrender to the ancient will pressing against your thoughts. The hive's pulsating walls seem to hum in approval, the rhythm syncing with your heartbeat, pulling you into its dark embrace. You lower your weapon, your limbs heavy, and step forward toward the queen's towering form. The queen's gaze locks onto you, her eyes gleaming with dark satisfaction. A final, heavy pulse echoes through your mind, her voice no longer an intrusion, but a part of you. You have chosen wisely. The moment you accept, your thoughts begin to unravel. Fragment by fragment, the memories of who you once were, your name, your past, your struggles, slip away, dissolving into the void like dust caught in a current. In their place, a new awareness takes root. You feel the hive's presence envelop you, its needs becoming your own, the queen's will coursing through your veins. Your body shifts, your form slowly melding into something new, something less human. The warmth of the hive surrounds you, protective, familiar, as your sense of individuality fades entirely. What you once were no longer matters. Now, you're a part of something greater, a loyal servant of the queen, bound to her will, forever. The queen's thoughts hum through your mind, guiding you as you take your place among the other drones. Together, you work in perfect unison. Your purpose, clear and unquestionable. The world outside is forgotten, replaced by the comforting darkness of the hive. You have no need for memory, no need for self. Here, you are whole. And so, you live, eternally bound to the hive. A servant to its ancient queen. Lost to the outside world, forever. Ending E, hive mentality. Oh, wow. So I knew it, dude. You drink from the chalice, and then suddenly, like, yeah, like now you're one with the hive. Yeah. All right. I don't know if those might be all the endings, cause I don't know, cause I'm wondering if if you keep your health bar intact, like as much as possible during that sequence, I'm thinking maybe there might be a chance that you could actually fight the queen bee, but I'm not too sure. So hold on, let me see if you could get a different ending that way. Yeah, so yeah, let's see if we could get a different ending. Okay, so check this out. Look, it says, in a desperate maneuver, you roll to the side just in time. The queen's massive stinger slams into the ground with a thunderous impact, becoming lodged in the hive's dense walls. Her furious screech echoes through the chamber as she struggles to free herself, her movements growing increasingly frantic and disoriented. With her stinger trapped, the queen's strength begins to wane. Her once relentless attacks slow, and her enraged roars turn into frustrated growls. Her massive form quivers, and her many eyes blink with a mixture of pain and resignation. Finally, the queen ceases her struggle, her body slumping against the hive's walls. The buzzing of the hive quiets to a low, mournful hum as she acknowledges her defeat. Her colossal form is still but imposing. The chamber falls silent except for the faint, rhythmic pulse of the hive's heartbeat. You stand victorious, but wary, knowing that while the queen has been conceded, her power still lingers in the hive's oppressive depths. As you near the exit of the hive, the queen's voice echoes in your mind one last time. She offers you a final chance. Serve her and live, or leave and face the unknown horrors of the outside world. Let me think. So there's two paths we could take here. Let's see. So what happens if we click serve the queen? So this is okay. Yeah. So it gives us ending E. Yeah. All right. So that actually results in the same ending. Yeah. But let's see what happens if we defy the queen this time. Okay. So let's see what happens if we escape the hive this time. Yeah. So as you near the exit of the hive, the queen's voice echoes in your mind one last time. She offers you a final chance. Serve her and live, or leave and face the unknown horrors of the outside world. So let's see what happens if we escape this time. Let's see. Yeah, so ending D, paranoid tinnitus. Yeah, so it results in the same ending. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this is, dude, I'm very glad I actually decided to play this game. Yeah, dude, cause like when I first saw the game and I started reading the devlogs, like I actually became super interested, considering that it's actually like based off of like the real life experiences of trying to care for like a flightless bee, like a story from the developer. Yeah, like how the developer themselves tried to take care of a flightless bee. Yeah, and dude, I mean, honestly, like, not only is the artwork fantastic, especially during like the horror segment, but I really love how descriptive I really love how descriptive the sentences are, like it actually is written in a way that that immerses you, into the events of the story. Like, for example, like the sensation of relief that you feel when the bee in the good ending, the bee is actually able to like live out its last days with joy because you've actually taken good care of it. And so the protagonist of the story is like, knowing that they actually took good care of the bee feels like very content with themselves. Yeah. And then I also like how sad it is as well, like when you fail to take good care of the bee and like it ends up dying prematurely. And yeah, dude, it's like with how descriptive that ending was, as to like how sad and like how strong the grief, like how sad and how strong the grief was. It's like, oh my goodness, dude. Like it was like, wow, dude. Like it and like it actually did make me feel like really really sad. Yeah. And of course like I also like how descriptive the horror segment is as well. Yeah, I mean, just overall, like the way that each story was told, including the endings, like I just really love like how it's written. Yeah, like again, like the diction, and just like the way it actually immerses you into like the events of the story, like what's actually going on. Yeah, and dude, like wow, I mean honestly, I just really love how this game is a combination of both cute and scary. Yeah, like with that one segment, like when you decide to step on the bee. Yeah, I mean, dude, like wow. It's wonderful. I mean, this game's like wonderful, and I'm very very glad that I actually decided to play it. Yeah. It was very nice. Learning about the backstory of this game by reading the devlogs, and just overall, yeah. Once again, like I love the artwork, the narration, the word choice, and like how descriptive each passage was. And yeah, dude, like I really hope to see, I really really hope to see like more interactive games from this developer in the future, because wow, dude, like I love this. I'll say it again. Like this was a pretty great game. Yeah, very nice. But anyways, that's it. So this was Be Careful, an interactive game played by the man himself. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And finally, as all you gamers say, peace out and stay gnarly, amigos.